Twitter, right? I'm just gonna power right through. We live in an era where I could sit on the can and read two people arguing about whether Karl Marx was more important than a Korean pop star, and I could not be happier. We are lowering the volume. I have a sneeze on the edge of my nose. Nope. No, I think I'm good. Hopefully everyone will start funneling in here in a moment, and then I can kind of give my spiel about why I'm back on Destiny. Because I wasn't always, pro Destiny as per my last stream. Okay. But yeah, in the meantime, before anyone funnels in, I'm going to discuss the fact that I find it fucking hilarious that, like, you go to Twitter trending, and it's like, oh fuck yeah, new mark. It's like two K-pop stans arguing about Karl Marx, and people begging for MySpace back. This is just free for everyone. I'll have to go pay to watch this happen. I can at any point for free log on to Twitter, go watch two K-pop stans argue about Karl Marx, and I could not be happier. I mean, I could, on account of the whole oppression and stuff, but still. Don't think there's a quest for me to pick up, but I'm gonna pick up the New Light quest. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it, see how it is by comparison to the old New Light quest that I went through. Oh, new milestone added, okay. Awakening, mission completed. It's hard to imagine. 100 years ago, my ancestors were, just trying to figure out the radio. Or beyond that, trying to figure out television. I mean, probably even plumbing. Late 1800s, early 1900s, still working on simple stuff like that. Wait. Hold up. A milestone says a guardian rises, mission completed. Where do I go somewhere? Let's see. I don't see anything. Oh, here we go. What's up here? Of the hunt. Join Osiris on the moon in his hunt for vengeance. Okay. I'll deal with that in a bit. For now, we're doing the New Light experience. But, well, 5 minutes in. Nobody's funneled in, but I said I'd give my spiel, and so I will. Whew. So, last stream, I was very, very harsh on Destiny. Not wholly through any fault of Destiny, Hi Tracer. Yeah, sit down, chill, cat, chill. Find your chill. Find it and hang on to it. But, yeah, I was unnecessarily harsh on it, and I want to, look at it again from a little bit more of a chilled perspective. Willing to give criticism where criticism is due, but not undue criticism. And have it be criticism rather than just ragging on the game. There's a difference. Criticism is one thing, just talking shit and being an ass is another. So I'm looking to actually, do genuine criticism. Because like I said in that stream, I do want the game to be better. And I am disappointed with what we've gotten. But I don't want to come at it from an angle of, fuck this shit sucks, it's the fucking worst. I want to be like, okay, here's what's good, here's what's bad. Here's my perspective on it. Like, it's better than just sitting down and giving the game shit for 2 hours on end. Also, I love the concept that we would bring assault rifles to Mars. That's definitely something humanity would actually do. Like, let me bring a gun. Tracer. So, I'm trying to remember what it was, because I watched Dado's video on it, I think yesterday, on the new expansion. His closing thoughts were kind of a lot of my own, and felt very similar to what I was thinking at the time, but he vocalized it a lot better than I did previously. So I would like to go back, rectify that mistake, and not just shit on Destiny, but actually approach it from a perspective of genuine criticism.
And its arrival changed us forever. Great cities were built on Mars and Venus.
So this is definitely a better start. Putting this cutscene up here rather than the old Red War one where it's just like, alright, you're in it, you're a guardian, go to town.
We stared out at the galaxy and knew that it was our destiny.
Yeah, Tracer, yeah.
In the light of other stars. But the traveler had
But I'm trying to think, because I had like a list in my head. I should have wrote it or written it down, but I didn't. Because, I'm a dumbass.
this darkness found us.
I'll probably start going through and talking about like my real issues with Destiny
But it was
and why
the beginning.
I haven't really been willing to sit down and play more Destiny. Why it's really bothered me. On top of the usual, the similar, just I haven't been as interested in gaming in general lately. Oh, hello, Pink Ghost.
I'm a ghost. Actually, now I'm your ghost, and you? Well, you've been dead a long time. So you're going to see a lot of things you won't understand.
See if it's the exact same mission again.
Fallen territory. We aren't safe here.
And I will try to hang on to my train of thought.
Hold still.
Because I know last time, in my last stream, I was not really able to hang on to my train of thought. I just kept going off on tangents repeatedly. I will keep the other stream up. I considered taking it down just because I was not satisfied with how I approached my criticism and the way I was talking. But for comparison's sake, for the sake of seeing like what quality criticism is versus just being an ass, I'm going to leave it up. And to give context for this stream. If anyone were to be like, what was that stream like? Well, you can go look. You can go see what I believe is piss poor criticism and
Careful.
just a bad stream in general. Although it is doing relatively well in comparison to
I'll get us more light.
my other stream numbers,
Hard military system. Check. Frayed wires and rust.
which is funny to me because I hate it.
When I flip this switch, expect trouble.
But I'll start with
Not good.
probably my biggest criticism of Destiny, which is sameness. When, you know, they've released Beyond Light, they released other things, but it pretty continuously disappoints in that the new content that's added is rarely very interesting to me. It's do more strikes, it's play more Gambit, it's you know, do more Crucible. And the actual changes are so minimal that it never really feels like Destiny is evolving or growing as a game. It's simply existing in a sort of like a stagnated state, which I hate that sentence. That sentence is so bad. It's, you know, grown stagnant. It's not really growing or changing as a game with each expansion. It's simply staying Destiny 2, which if you like Destiny 2, isn't such a bad thing. But if you have issues with Destiny 2, it will continue to be a bad thing, and you won't really get any reprieve. You won't find the changes that you desire in the game. And every time you come back, you'll find, well, you know, the issues I still had were never really addressed. If those issues aren't addressed, why should I keep playing the game? If Bungie doesn't seem willing to sit down and listen to criticism and respond, why should I continue to give them my criticism in good faith? I know I have a super, but I don't want to use it. I don't need it. And so, you know, when I look at Bungie on their social media channels, especially on things like Reddit, you run into a lot of the same situation. Fine, get out of my face. Where, you know, someone will say, hey, this is my criticism. I'm not a huge fan of this thing. And you'll see a community manager will come in, they'll reply to the thread, and they'll say, oh, we hear your feedback. We're sorry to hear that. We'll keep it in mind for the future. And then nothing. For weeks, months, years even on some, you know, pieces of criticism. Where just for ages, they won't say anything. And it's very frustrating and very disappointing to see that. And many developers fall into that cycle. Where they will go ahead and do a thing and then just be like, well, you know, we'll take that under consideration, and then just never really give any response. Like, even if you've taken it under consideration and decided it was a bad idea, such as someone says, maybe all guns should have the same RPM. Like, you might know, hey, that's a bad idea. It's not a good idea. That would make guns very samey, it would be garbage. But you should still address it and say, hey, here is why we addressed your criticism and decided not to go through with it. Because of this, this, and this. Like, these are our reasons. Because in doing so, the community feels at least heard, even if you're not doing what they want you to do. Because I don't feel like currently, it doesn't feel like they're listening to the community. They're hearing, but they're not listening. There are different things. And this creates a sense of disappointment whenever I read the patch notes or whatever. Like, they're not touching Trinity Ghoul, which a lot of my rating team thinks is just stupidly good, and it is. And they're not addressing Stasis right now. Like, they just launched Stasis, it's absolutely demolishing PvP. And we have not heard a peep on it. We haven't heard even so much as a we hear your feedback. Not to my knowledge, at least. although I'm a little out of the loop, as I've been relatively absent from Destiny since last season's extended hiatus. During that time, I got into World of Warcraft, which falls into a lot of the same categories and a lot of the same issues. Where, you know, people will talk to Blizzard and they're like, hey, so that thing sucks. And then Blizzard's like, oh, we heard your feedback. We're not touching it though.
Oh, you're fresh out of the grave, aren't you?
We heard your distress call. We're here to help.
Brave.
Am I fresh out of the grave? I don't quite look it.
Tall order for your first day, though. Doesn't help that I rushed the perimeter scans, and now I need to locate
Back on topic,
nothing left to
you know, they need to give us a sense of their listening a bit better. It's one thing that I think Bungie and many other developers
likes to be sidelined.
really fall into. And it just feels bad.
You sound
It feels bad is a very vague sentiment, but
load up. This is
it
gonna
is the one that I'm going with.
do what I say, and we'll get through it.
We won't let you down.
So that's basically that on the communication issues. Is that just, it doesn't feel like they're ever addressing them. And that their way of addressing issues is to say, we heard you. We're listening. And then just kind of not really respond to any feedback. Which creates, you know, like a void in communication. It feels like the players are talking into a brick wall. I'm still on this topic, but I basically said all I need to say. Which is that
There's a weapon in that locker. Probably an upgrade for you. Grab it and head to
topics can be addressed. It's not an upgrade for me. Or is it? It is an upgrade, actually.
I'll scan for signals from my jump ship. I need you to be
So, to go back to a very different issue. One that's kind of been bugging me. It's nagging at the back of my mind pretty continuously while I played the game.
causing interference. My scanner's shot. You might be doing this the
And that's that, classes feel samey.
I've got a source for the interference.
Because we all use the same weapons. Our abilities all have kind of the same effects. You know, really the super is all that makes the classes different.
Get the fallen off that thing.
Like, you know, warlocks don't really fulfill a support role as strong as they could. Titans aren't really, you know, tanky melee classes. Like, you know, warlocks technically have better melee abilities in some aspects than Titans do. We have shoulder charge, but shoulder charge is only so useful. It's only so useful, and many of the shoulder charge abilities don't give you overshields or health regen or anything because they couldn't, because of PvP. It would absolutely fucking crack PvP if that were the case. Hence why things like Insurmountable Skullfort are so ridiculous. Hold B to put a proactive barricade. Okay, cool. And so I think classes could definitely use to be expanded upon a bit more. And just kind of developed. I think they're kind of going that way with Stasis. But Stasis feels like such a half measure to me.
Signal restored.
Because the Titan one still just kind of feels like a knockoff shoulder charge. A knockoff Fist of Havoc. Which is... it's disappointing. Straight up. And I've heard that the, what are they called? Like the attachments you can put on the supers. I don't know the name of them because I don't have any yet. Because I haven't played enough of the mode. Which is what's about to become my next complaint point.
Myths say the fallen once lived
Is
in
that
grace.
when they gave us stasis, they gave us a very basic form of it. And they were like, okay, now go earn the rest. And it's like, okay,
They've come all this way
but like,
chasing what they lost.
you know, stasis feels like shit right now. So why would I really want to go try and find and earn a better form of it? Because what I've seen so far, I don't want. You know? Like, they don't give anything to sweeten the pot at the beginning. They don't give any incentives. It's a book where the first sentence is, "This is a book. Have fun reading it." The incentive is just you want to play the game. And that's not a given. And no game developer, Bungie, you know, definitely included, should ever just assume that you're going to play the game. We need some incentive. And so I think at the beginning they should have given us stasis with 1 or 2 customizations to kind of get a feel for it, see how it works, see, you know, how unique they could be. Kind of push us in the direction of saying, don't you want more of this? It's, you know, the hit of crack you get from the dealer at the beginning.
Looks like the Fallen want to keep us out.
So you then, you know, you then want your next hit.
Let's check out the control.
Instead of giving us a hit, they gave us nothing. I guess technically they gave us a hit when they went ahead and let you use stasis.
This is locked down.
I felt like letting us use stasis just temporarily
Bypass it. The Fallen's
just
help.
felt kind of bad. Because it ended up being a case where I'm like, oh, I can't really get a feel for that to see if I like it or not. I really only had it for about 10 seconds. And it was such a small taste of what it was that I can't really get a feel for it or know if I like it. Meanwhile, in the story, especially now with the new light system, you don't go through the Red War campaign. You immediately have your subclasses. You immediately have your super. From the onset, I can go running around with my, you know, Code of the Commander and get a feel for it and try it out. Try it out in simple fights, try it out in big fights, anything in between. And kind of get to know it. Meanwhile, stasis is kind of kept at a distance. And I know it's supposed to be like
That's one.
the exciting bit of the expansion. But why not make that the attachment? The attachments. Sorry, I kind of got choked up there for a second. But you know, why don't we get the attachments for stasis as rewards for doing the campaign, or more story, more lore? Because I'm still mad that they keep doing lore in lore cards. Europa is better about that, for sure. Europa's better about that. They have gone and done actually a pretty good job of incorporating the story into, well, the story. Instead of going, this is Gaul, he does bad things, and if you read a Grimoire card, he kills a couple guys. Go have fun. Instead, it's like, no, this is the mysterious stranger. She's cool and wants you to do stuff with the darkness, and, you know, she'll teach you a little bit about it. About why she, you know, does this. I'm like, that's good. That's very good to see that. There's still so much about Destiny and its lore that I have no clue about. And there's situations like the potential for Saint 14 and Osiris to maybe be dating? I don't know if that's a joke, though. I don't. I have no clue. I've seen it on Twitter. Don't want to confirm it. I've just heard it. But it's there. It's a thing. And to put that in a lore card is just like, really? Really? You can't just, like, have a quick scene where it's Saint 14 and Osiris in the, you know, the hangar after we saved Saint 14. Osiris is like, oh, it's so good to see you again, and they like embrace or whatever. We're like, oh shit, like that's more than like a brotherly hug. Instead, it's in a lore card somewhere where I don't even fucking know what lore card. It might not even be a lore card. It might be one of those things where it's like, oh, the story's up on the website. Go to a fucking website to find out the lore. Like that was ever a good idea.
This barrier. The Fallen were keeping the hive at bay.
The Maeve is in more trouble than I thought.
But yeah, lore cards for lore is generally bad. Like, please let us experience lore. Let us meet these characters. Let us see these events
Whatever's causing it, even transmats won't get through right now.
instead of just telling us. Show, don't tell. Come on. It's classic storytelling. Show, don't tell. Like, you know, amateur storytellers could tell you, show, don't tell. If you just tell the audience it has so much less of an impact. Beyond that, in New Light and in Beyond Light, there is, of course, the issue of sunsetting. Sunsetting sucks. I'm not gonna lie, I was for it when it started coming out, and then as they started giving us details, I was like, this does not feel like Bungie's going to succeed with it. It really felt like a situation where the more information I knew, the less excited I was for it. Because when they were like, oh, we'll go ahead and remove, you know, mountaintop and stuff.
Still be light left in her ghost. Shaw, I'm sorry. We were too late.
Ghost did.
Cass, I couldn't get to him.
It did.
There was a hive wizard, a powerful one.
But,
Tried.
what was I talking about? Right.
You did what you could.
Sunsetting.
The remains of her ghost.
Sunsetting sucks in its current form.
You should just
And it doesn't suck through any fault of the raw system in itself. The actual issues are within how it was implemented, which I guess is the system itself, but the idea of sunsetting, not bad. The amount of items that was sunset and what was sunset is kind of where the issues come into play. Because if a quest tells me you need to get kills with a void submachine gun, I'm like, well, there's not really any void submachine guns in the game anymore. They were, you know, they were taken out. And so, you know, what am I supposed to do? Well, I guess the answer is I go get kills with some other weapon. Do here. Oh, the game wants me to fast travel. The game's like, hey, fast travel. I got you. And so, you know, I can't go in with a void submachine gun. I have to go in with a void weapon and then in with a submachine gun to get my kills. And that's just, honestly, it's bad. It removes options from the player and slows them down and makes the grind unnecessarily large.
that hive you saw was a powerful wizard named Navota.
Or if it's a situation where they ask for heavy machine guns, it's like, well, I don't really have any heavy machine guns. They all got removed from the game pretty much.
The job. There's a Golden Age relic, a superconductor, in a sealed chamber nearby.
And then I think the few that weren't sunset aren't really acquirable anymore, such as I think the saw. Seventh Seraph saw is an option, but
Get near the place.
if you're a New Light player, or someone who didn't happen to get one that season,
And something tells me our
you're fucked.
a thing or two about the infrastructure here.
You really have no options.
Assignments. They're yours now. Go shake the tree. We'll see what falls out.
Sure, Shaw. Whatever you say, buddy. This is a nice way to get some slightly more powerful gear. And it wants me to kind of go do the rest of the shit.
Close call with that van.
But I think I'm gonna go do some strikes real quick.
Cass told me about these dreams he had. I never understood them.
It'll kind of suck, but whatever. Let's go. Try out some strikes. Finish that later.
Titans, we could probably clear out the Jovian complex.
2 more Titans. You only need 1 Titan for that. You don't need 1 Titan for anything. So back on the topic of sunsetting, it's just, it feels bad as well. There's so many archetypes that were already shit. We've now really just been thrown into the absolute trash category because there's no good options. There's very, very little you can do to bring these weapons into play. You have no options. Whether it's because there's no good perk combinations or because there just simply isn't any of them. You know, changes on a case-by-case basis. But I think also a big issue is how sudden it was. Had it been a situation where over time, you know, a bundle of guns was removed, you know, slowly and steadily, instead of just being like, well, we kind of went from like most of the guns were in the game, and then we just kind of were like, nope. Like, I'd say probably about like 75% of the guns in the game were removed or some shit. An ungodly amount was removed. And that kind of leaves us in a shit position where it's like, well, if you know, take away 75% of my abilities, or 75% of anything, it sucks. Straight up. It sucks. A lack of options is something that Destiny pretty continuously lacks. So like right now, it's like, what's the best way to get powerful drops? And people are like, well, there's only like a couple options. Some of the old options, such as Nightmare Hunts, have relatively reasonably been removed. But now, it's an expansion and we really need those levels. It's probably the most important time to have those levels. And we don't have them because, well, they were removed. While the reasoning for removing them was good, the fact that they were removed does not change. It will not change at any point. This lends to that sense of staleness that Destiny has. Where, you know, we're doing the same activities, but at times now for less reward. We're getting less powerfuls from less sources. But now we need them extremely because, well, there's an expansion. And we've got a raid grind to do, because there's a raid coming out as well. So anyone who wants to do that is off seeking powerfuls as well. And I can't imagine, I don't know if it's still in play, because I know they changed a lot of the raids, but there used to be the modifier for prestige difficulty, where it would force you into certain weapons. And that would be a bitch right now. Because, you know, what are my options for a kinetic or energy sidearm? Like, luckily, there's actually a lot of options for the specific decision that I just made, where I said, you know, I would say fucking sidearms instead of something else, like machine guns. And of course, you have exotic options, but exotic options suck. Especially because in a raid, you need DPS on a boss. Your exotic options are already limited to what can and can't DPS a boss. Your weapon can't DPS a boss, you need to not be using it. You have to have at least one weapon able to do that at all times. You got limits added to limits, which are added to limits, which makes your options slim, if not zero. And that sucks butt. But beyond... So I've talked about sunsetting. Talked about something else before sunsetting. If I remember what it is, I will remember. What other shit things are there in Destiny that I really would like to just criticize? Genuinely, this time. Not out of hatred, but out of love for the game, and because I want it to not be shit. Probably what I'm doing right now. Strikes. Strikes are... Rewards are not great. Very simple, they're very boring. And again, it's a situation of options. Our options for strikes aren't great, and I think we got maybe 3 with the new expansion, and lost another 8, 9, something like that, maybe even more than that. Some ungodly number, I'm sure. Some ungodly number that I'm not remembering off the top of my head. And so coming into the strike playlist now, you know, I want to do the new strikes, but I'm really concerned that once I've done those strikes, my options will become so limited that I end up running the same strikes over and over again. Which is bad. It's bad. Bad in World of Warcraft, it's bad here. Like, limiting the playlists never really seems to help, except maybe Crucible. Crucible could use to trim off a mode or two. Some trimming would not do it any harm. Considering it's a situation of Crucible has 100 modes. And really, you know, strikes only have 2 modes. That's normal and hard. Because you have basic strike playlist, and then you have the Nightfall playlist, Big Boy Strike playlist. Didn't mean to pick that up. I meant to pick it up, but I meant to shoot. Only to swing the fucking worm like a dumbass. But, God, for the love of God, I wish I had written down. I was playing World of Warcraft earlier, and I was like, oh, here's all the things that I dislike about Destiny, and here's another idea, and another, and another. Now that I'm sitting here trying to remember them, I'm like, definitely should have wrote that one down. But I think raids are probably the place I have the least issue with. I really enjoy raids. I like the mechanics, I like the idea of them. I think basically everything about them is solid. And I'm hopeful that the new one's going to be pretty good. It seems pretty likely that it will be. But I don't have any reason to really doubt it. But I will doubt because everything else that's been shown is okay. Oh, I talked about Grimoire cards and storytelling in Beyond Light. That's what I talked about previously. So, we'll see if... What? Titan jump. We'll see if the new raid's good. I hope it is. I don't think I'll be doing it day 1 just because I'm not going to be high enough level. That's probably just going to be the case. And I have to deal with it. Be satisfied with where I am. Fucking headset keeps getting caught in my belt somehow. The 4th time it's happened. Find I'm slightly more focused now that I'm doing strike rather than random bullshit. Oh, away already, bitch. There she goes.
If we kill the Brood Queen, that's the end of this
Wait,
nest.
before I jump down.
Dug too deep, the end of the hive on the tangled shore.
Build prep full court. Whatever. It's better. That's why I use it. Tracer, find your chill. Go find it somewhere else though. Oh, dude, did you fart? Dude. Dude, that's disgusting. Rude. God, my cat definitely fucking ripped a fat one, and that is so fucking nasty. So gross. I must admit, I'm mildly disappointed that there was no one here for the 30 minutes that I sat here talking to myself, because I was like, I'm actually keeping a train of thought. And now I've completely lost it. My train of thought has quite resoundingly derailed. Why did none of those shots hit him? So let's talk about stasis, shall we? Stasis sucks in Crucible. Everyone said it. They said it's gonna suck in Crucible. They were like, everyone was like, you know, Bungie, please, you know, please manage this. And Bungie said, don't worry guys. We got you. It's not gonna suck in Crucible. Because we balanced it. And I don't think I knew anyone who was like, yeah, no, I trust Bungie to balance stasis in Crucible. Because nobody trusted them. And everyone who didn't trust them, you are all 110% correct. And you made the right choice. Because in an absolute not shocking turn of events, it's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely insane in every possible sense of the word. Okay, whoever's sniping me, you're about to get fucked. Not dealing with that shit. I think Crucible in general has just been so resoundingly fucked for so long. And knowing that it hasn't been touched by weapon sunsetting, which is where weapon sunsetting was the most important. Like, who fucking cares if we have a couple overpowered weapons in PvE? We still do. Basically, every overpowered weapon in PvE is still in the game. You know, Trinity Ghoul still exists. Falling Guillotine still exists. Xenophage still exists. Whisper of the Worm, which has been god tier for as long as I've been playing Destiny, still exists. So, what was the point of weapon sunsetting? Oh, Trials gets it slightly better, but now Trials has to do with stasis. So Trials is still fucked. Also, it's Trials. Like, where weapon sunsetting probably should have mattered the most is where it did the least. In situations like competitive, in situations like quick play comp, or not quick play comp, that's a fucking oxymoron. In, you know, just general quick play of Crucible, weapon sunsetting did nothing. Or at least nothing to any degree that matters. Like, oh no, my mountaintop is locked to a lower level and slightly nerfed. Like, that's really gonna stop anyone. Instead of being like, oh, we've put, you know, we have like a ban list. Do like what card games do. Do a ban list. Be like, you're not allowed to bring Mountaintop into comp anymore. Or you're not allowed to bring Mountaintop into Crucible at all because it's fucking ridiculous. But go have fun with it somewhere else. It's like, at this point, people have had their fun with Mountaintop. You know, let us move on from it. Alright, is she gonna move every time I shoot? Yep, probably. Trying to dodge that shit on the ground. It's my own dumbass fault. But instead of getting a ban list or them actually, you know, balancing anything, We got weapon sunsetting, which didn't touch anything. Like, it was quite possibly the most useless option I could have thought of. So, now you got a situation where if you go to play quick play, you've got Mountaintop still ruling, 600 RPM autos are still fucking lasers, essentially, and now you have stasis to throw on top of it. All the Crucible players are probably just crying their eyes out right now, and I don't blame them. Because Bungie just appears to not care about them, but at the same time, most of the buffs and nerfs to guns are for Crucible, which is confusing, because when they do that, they fuck over PvE players for PvP players. But at the same time, it feels like they don't give a shit about PvP players, so who do they give a shit about? Any of us? At this point, it really doesn't feel like it. Like, PvE players have to deal with weapon balancing and gun balancing based on PvP. So, like, scouts are not getting touched. You know, stuff like that. And this whole time, PvP players have to deal with the fact that, you know, most of the shit that they need fixed is not getting touched. So what's the point? And they're like, oh, we, you know, buffed 600 RPM autos, and then mildly nerfed some other guns to make sure they weren't too powerful, and yet still. We have a meta that looks like a fucking seesaw. But, okay. It's been like almost an hour now, and I've done nothing but shit on Bungie, so let's have happy fun time hour for Bungie. Let's talk about what's good in Destiny. Which isn't too incredibly hard, but is also simultaneously difficult. So, number one is still the fucking shooting. Shooting's still great. Always will be, probably always has been. But, God, this bitch keeps putting this shit under my feet. Asshole. I'm glad they're improving the storytelling. And they're actually allowing, like, players who don't watch every single Biff video that he ever releases and read every lore car and furiously masturbates to every single time Bungie mentions something that's lore-based. When they're like, Akriji has come back from the dead to do this or that. I'm glad they're actually including more casual players and allowing them to learn the lore. Like, for the longest, I knew fuck all about 99% of what was going on. I still don't, to be honest. Like, I've read the, like, lore of the Hive and, like, where they came from, and I'm like, none of this makes any fucking sense. They're like, they came from such and such planet for such and such reason, and there's, like, brood queens and all this other shit, and I don't understand a lick of it. I'm glad they're trying, at least, to go ahead and make it to where players do understand those things. I think especially with the new light system, because the old one threw you in beyond the deep end, it threw you outside of the pool. And the new one actually is like, hey, you know, here's a bit of what you need to understand the world and where we're coming from and where we're going. Like, you know, darkness and light exists, here's why they exist, here's all that. Wow, this did not give me any good gear. That is a gosh darn disappointment. Back to Beyond Light, I suppose. And it leans you into some of the mechanics, New Light, and how they're kind of teaching you. Leans you into things like bounties and world traversal and all of that. Also, I've kind of locked myself into New Light, haven't I? Stop getting fucking caught on my belt. So it like loops out, right? It sticks out to my left, which is where my belt sticks out. So when I lift up my controller, it's caught on my belt every time. It's the worst. It's like just long enough to go past where my belt ends. Where was I? Oh yeah, Beyond Light. Storytelling, good. Europa needs work, but it is a step in the right direction. Having the mysterious stranger actually talk and like directly to the player and be like, hey, so here's why I want you to do this thing. Here's the thing I want you to do. You know, I'm glad you're doing me this favor. This is cool. It's neat. Glad you're learning about the darkness. Have fun. Go get some stasis powers. Punch some bad guys. Rather than it being a situation of, well, Zavala vaguely said a thing at me. And now I'm out doing a thing, I think. Or worst, when you get a quest. And then the quest is like, I need you to do a thing. And it's like, okay, why? And it's like, because thing. And some of the lore that they had did good. In just like quest descriptions and stuff. But I'm glad they're adding actual dialogue in, because we all need to sit here and be honest with ourselves. None of us are reading the dialogue. Not a single one of you motherfuckers is out there going, yeah, no, every time I pick up a quest, I read all the dialogue. None of you are. If you are, you're fucking lying to yourself. So having the characters actually speak to you instead of just stand there awkwardly while you potentially read the quest dialogue. That is a 100% step in the right direction. And I'm glad we're finally seeing the culmination of several different storylines. The darkness is finally here. So that storyline can, for the love of God, finally actually get addressed. Where it's like, you know, is the darkness evil and all that? Do we really know? Yes or no? Is light good? And then everything beyond that. That's very good. I like that Uldren's come back. Sorry for the spoiler for anyone, but putting it out there now, apparently. So a lot of these loose ends are finally getting addressed in some way. Which is better than what we had before, where like Season of the Worthy was like, oh yeah, remember when the Almighty existed from the Red War campaign? Yeah, that was a thing. Now we're actually getting, you know, finalization on those stories, and hopefully if Bungie can do this right, they will continue to address old story points and keep the new ones going. So I definitely don't want to see it become a point where Bungie just goes ahead and throws all these new plot lines that they're finally tying up out the window. I think in the long run, there's going to have to be 2 or 3 things, if not more. I mean, probably more. There's going to have to be plot lines that are thrown out the window. That is unavoidable at the end of the day. Like, they do not have the bandwidth of storytelling. It's leading me. Oh, is it like under the bridge? No, where is it leading me? Oh, up and over. Okay, I see, I see. Shit. I'm bad. But even if they do throw away some storylines, I hope we can actually see a culmination. And see a lot of these storylines be addressed. I'm still partial to our character talking. Especially just because giving a voice to a voiceless protagonist is always a risky business. I mean, look at Fallout 4. And the fact that Fallout 4 was like yeah, we'll voice the protagonist, and then it never felt like my character. At no point. Now this is less of an issue for Destiny, because Destiny is not a story-driven game. Never has been, probably never will be. But I still think it's a risky business, because the Guardian's kind of supposed to be us. And even though there's no true roleplay element, such as like a dialogue system or anything, there is still a vague sense of roleplay in that we're involved in the world and we're connected to it. And that our character is supposed to be a blank slate. So, you know, everyone's character should theoretically react differently to things. If, you know, the Traveler spoke to my character, I would probably be a little bit more of a bitter asshole. But some people would be like, oh, finally, the Traveler's speaking to me, yes. And so, you know, giving our character a voice gives them a response. And only one. At the end of the day, when Osiris says, will you suck my dick? Your character can only say yes or no. Currently, they're kind of giving us vague answers where we're like, meh, okay. And like, we can't refuse to take the Darkness subclass or anything. Because we can't be like, oh, but the light. I love the light. But that's not such an issue that I'm going to get up in arms and try and like call up Bungie HQ and be like, you guys suck. But I do think it's something to keep in mind for the future for the storytelling. But so far, they're managing it well, you know. Seeing our character in the darkness on the moon was pretty fucking cool. And that's how the darkness has been speaking to us. I've heard that they address the fact that the ghost is super annoying. Hope they do. Please, for the love of God, I hope they do. What else? I need more good things to talk about. I haven't been talking about good things for very long. I'm already starting to crack. Feel the crack showing. Kindness is getting to me. Shanks, dude. There's so many of them. Jesus Christ. Why? So many enemies in these lost sectors. Definitely see what people are talking about with that. Now that I've leveled, it actually feels better to keep fighting through this stuff. Oh, that's the big bad. I definitely just put a round in the wall. That? Oh, there's spider tanks like stacked on top of each other. That's fucking cool. Aesthetically, Destiny's still incredible. Like straight up. Destiny still looks amazing aesthetically. Like this lost sector here with like the big crane with all the tanks on it swinging around, the huge like Coliseum looking area. This is cool as fuck. Straight up cool as fuck. I really enjoy things like this. Ow. I don't know why I thought I could break that. I don't know if you can or not. I don't think you can. I think I was thinking Payday. Playing too much Payday lately. So aesthetically, just nothing really more to say on it. It looks good. Like, I literally don't think there's anything else I could say about it. Enjoyable, it's fun to look at, it's fun to, you know, run through these areas. Shit, hell yeah. A bunch of fucking things. I like the, it's something Dado mentioned in his video. I didn't really pay attention to until now. And that's enemy density. There's a lot of enemies to shoot at, and that's enjoyable. It's fun. It's actually Cool as fuck. Also, I should have picked up bounties from Shaw, and I didn't. And that's my own fault. What else? What else? The weapons feel relatively good, I guess. I think the big thing for me is gonna be I'm still waiting for the raid. I'll see if the raid's any good, because that's what I'll stick around for. Public events, defeat combatants with void, arc void, and solar damage. All these defeat combatants anywhere. Defeat combatants, defeat hive. Defeat combatants with your super. Kinetic weapon. Okay. So I'm gonna continue to sit here, rack my brain for any more good stuff that I can say about Destiny.
Patrol logger. They're placed by hunter scouts in target-rich environments. See to it their numbers thin.
Or say to track it. Okay, but I already had it tracked. Like, I don't honestly have a lot of good to say about Destiny. And that's partly because I've become so jaded. It's, you know, the endless cycle of doing the same couple of bits of recycled content really started to get to me at the end of last season. It was kind of there at the beginning of the season, but by the actual, like, end of the season, it was really there in full force. I was like, I've done all these raids a whole bunch, like, to get, you know, all the different exotic weapons and shit. I did tons of really, really tedious quests. I did tedious quest after tedious quest, and then they just kept handing me more and more and more, and it just got to a point where it was too much. And it stopped being fun to play the game anymore. And then there were things like Not Forgotten, where I fought and I fought and I fought to get that gun, and I simply just had no luck. I was getting my ass handed to me left, right, and center, and there was no way I was going to get it. But it was the last box that I needed to tick. Oh shit, that's not a... Oh fuck, those guys are way more powerful than I am. I killed him though? Let's see. Maybe. Come on, bitch. Ow! Alright. Bad idea. Not doing that again. I will go and find that, whatever that dropped from the postmaster. But it's been an hour. Nobody's really come to watch or anything, so I'm gonna put out a quick burst out in my social media channels. So give me like 3 minutes to do that. I'll try not to make this as boring as I can. Just cause, as much fun as it is sitting here, essentially talking to myself, and talking about like what I do and don't like about Destiny, it's hard to bounce off myself, if I'm being honest. I can do it, but that doesn't mean it's not difficult. as many people who stream will tell you, like, without something to bounce off of, something interesting in story, something interesting in the game, another player, whatever, it is a bit hard. Oh, 7th Seraph Mark. I didn't know those were still in rotation. But I think if Destiny's core wasn't so good, so many people wouldn't still be here. Like, look at Anthem. Anthem has a lot of the same issues that Destiny has. Just shitty loot pool, really grindy and kind of boring. But Anthem is fucking dead. Anthem is dead on arrival, pretty much. And Destiny is not. Why is that? Well, because the shooting in Destiny and the actual core experience is damn near perfect. You're looking at an absolutely gorgeous system where, like, this feels good. So you might be doing your 500th bounty, but popping a fucking Fallen's head off and watching it explode feels good. Snipes are crisp. The actual animations are good. The game looks solid, save for the trees that are going through the building. And so it's hard to, you know, really rag on stuff like that. The stuff I rag on is mostly just activity-based and storytelling-based. Like, they basically built the foundation of the house and they built like a kind of rickety house on top of it. And so people are willing to live in it because they're like, well, the window has some cracks and, you know, screen door's a little torn up, but the foundation's solid and the walls aren't falling down. So it's still a house. Which is slightly a rag on people. And just how willing we are to overlook some pretty egregious flaws for no particularly fantastic reason. But at the same time, it's a testament to just how skilled of a developer Bungie is. Which is oftentimes, like I've said before, why some of these things are so disappointing. Because it's not like it's 5 people in a basement trying to whip up a game. It's a development company that's under one of the biggest publishers in the world, hiring some of the greatest talent I could physically imagine. Artists, developers, and storytellers who have done things in the past that I couldn't even imagine. They've done work that I would never even be able to consider doing anything that amazing. Sure, it's not the same Bungie that did Halo. It's not the same developer that did, the other Bungie game. What was it, Oni? Or something like that? A weird fucking weeaboo game. But at the same time, you know, these developers are still some of the greatest in the industry. Bungie wouldn't be what it is if that weren't true. They wouldn't have been bought out by Activision for God knows how much money. And they wouldn't have been, so sought after by Activision and have been given a budget that was basically unheard of at the time if they weren't fantastic developers. If they weren't some of the greatest of our time. So, when they make mistakes, it feels like watching Mozart fuck up mid-concert. It's just like, we all know you can do better, so why aren't you? And the answer is, a multitude of factors. They're working from home. Activision might have their fingers in the pot. Who knows? All kinds of stuff could be the answer. But that doesn't change how disappointing it can be. And so, no Bungie developer is going to see this. But on the off chance there's some developer out there who's trawling through streams or through YouTube for Destiny criticism and happens upon this, know that I believe in you. Just disappointed in what I've seen so far. I still hold faith somewhere that, you know, Bungie can take Destiny 2 and make it something that's worthy of, you know, everyone's time and their development skills. On top of, you know, everything else. I hope they can make Destiny 2 the 10 out of 10 game that it feels like it should be. Rather than the solid 7 that it is. Kind of a never settle for good enough situation. Did I ever infuse my mark? Yeah, I did. I'm just gonna put this one on and delete the old one. Don't really need it. All this shit. Fuck it all. So that is my one positive moment for the rest of the week, by the way. No more positivity. I'm all out. I've been run dry on positivity. I spoke well of Bungie, now I'm done. I'm out. Vanish into the night like Batman. Okay, what do I need? Do one more public event. Arc Void Solar. Kinetic weapons. 6 more kills with a kinetic weapon's probably easiest. Just take this pistol and get 6 more kills. That's literally all I need to do. So what else? What else is there to talk about with Bungie and Destiny? I'm excited for 2 new raids, although 2 new is not actually true. I'm excited for a new raid and a raid that I've never done. Never done Vault of Glass because Destiny 1's still a little janky. Partly just because, you know, it's kind of old. It's a relic of a bygone era type deal. You have to remember that Destiny 1 came out on the 360 and PlayStation 3. We're 2 generations beyond that at this point. We are quite well and truly beyond. You know, when Destiny 1 came out, what was it, like 10 years ago or some shit? 2011, 2012-ish? Around the time that Skyrim came out, I think.
Hey, this is Shaw down in the steps, picking up fallen radio chatter about another
I mean, hell, I might be wrong, but... Should I do this? Should I get this bounty done? Oh, I don't wanna. I've got my 3 done. I wanna carry on from here.
Enjoying the sights?
I guess, maybe. I don't know if enjoying the sights is really what I'd call it, but...
That's the schematic we found. The power grid here is linked to a dormant comms array. That array should be pulling plenty of juice from the grid, but it's offline. If we spin
It's nice that they didn't just add the old Cosmodrome with the old quests and everything and actually added these new missions into it.
in 2 places at once to reboot. The array itself and the power station. To top it off, Navota is still out there, so you need to watch yourself. I'm not losing any more Guardians today.
Ooh, gun. Night Watch. Overflow. Explosive payload. It's 11:13. Nice. Actually starting to, get some levels going there. You've acquired your first legendary weapon, have I? Have I, game? Have I just acquired my first legendary weapon?
Never know when things will heat up.
Thanks, game. 1111's not bad. What do you want me to do now? Legendary weapons are significantly more powerful than other weapon rarities, except exotics.
Never understood how Titans move so fast in that armor.
Because we're thick.
Nothing like having a
How
Titan.
we move so fast. I always did like some of the dialogue that you could run into. It's like class specific. I wish I could fucking use this beyond 1060.
Don't ever let up. The darkness will.
I just want to shoot it, you know? Play with it. And I realized I could have done this all along, but I've just been equipping whatever while I go, because I don't super care. I have no reason to care. What the fuck is... A lot of chests and stuff around here, that's nice. Mission cold boot, cool. Okay. Gonna have to go rag on all my regular viewers and be like, yo, where are you at? What you been doing? Not coming in to say hello? Gonna be by myself today? I see how it is. It's cool though. I mostly wanted to do this stream just because I was so disappointed in my previous Destiny stream. I was like, I kind of want to repeat. Kind of a second try type deal. Dude, there's like a fucking cat hair on my nose and it's been driving me nuts for a while now. Nope, why are you backing away? I need you. Also, can I get some ammo over here? Please? Like, any fucking ammo for anything that isn't my primary? Anything at all? No? That's cool. I will make do, I suppose, then. Didn't like having stasis. Is it fun? I feel like it's not fun. That just might be me, though. Ooh, 1114. I'll infuse it. I'll infuse for that one level. I'll be that motherfucker. It's lagging behind. My boots. My boots and my helmet, but this is a new helmet, so. There we go. Looking at 1114. I think it's like 1225 is gonna be the raid. So the hope is vaguely that I can get up towards where the raid is gonna be. In case my clan needs a substitute. I can swap in for them. And if I'm real lucky, maybe I'll stream the raid. Probably not, but putting that maybe out there in the world. Did it? I guess it opened. Just didn't show on my screen. Oh god, that's an eyelash falling into my eye. Oh motherfucker, why is my luck so bad today and every day? Jesus, I feel like all my hair falling out apparently. Falling out and directly into my fucking face. Worst. But I got a couple more hours of talking to myself in me. Well, I don't know about a couple more hours, maybe a couple more minutes. Because I will admit, it does get boring being by myself. I love streaming, but streaming alone to an audience of one who isn't talking. Hello, though. I'm glad you dropped by. I don't mind that you don't talk. I'm glad you're just here. It is very difficult. And it gets a little awkward. It's difficult to just basically shoot the shit with yourself.
Operational to balance the power grid.
Normally when I talk to myself, I'm not nearly this pleasant.
Systems are in lockdown.
How can we help?
Find the central terminal. Patch me in there.
But hopefully the first hour or so of my complaints for Destiny will
It's a golden age facility. Lost
be nice for anyone to watch on YouTube in the background.
It's amazing parts of it are still functioning.
But I wonder. I keep saying that. I'm like, but I'm trying to buy myself time for my next sentence to formulate. Let's see. What other Destiny complaints are there? Or pros? I still hate my ghost. I wish the ghost was not a character. I wish the ghost was silent. I still absolutely wish that was the case. I beg of Destiny, please shut my ghost up. I do not want my ghost to talk. I fucking hate having to listen to my ghost. I hate his voice, and he whines incessantly. Just this continuous, oh, Hive, oh no, I'm a little bitch. And it's so fucking annoying. I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, just please, for the love of God, either just don't give my ghost a voice. Like, at no point should the ghost have had a voice. Like, start the game with someone like radioing in and being like, oh, we caught a signal. A new ghost has revived a new guardian. Hi, it's me, Zavala. I wanted to say, cool, I'm glad a new guardian is alive. Can you come do some stuff? Rather than my ghost being like, hi, I'm a little bitch. Listen to me bitch and moan for 2 games.
Yeah, alright. I'm on it. Sit tight.
Yep, I'll sit tight. Surrounded by Hive. But the fucking get out of here, bothering my nose. Yeah, but I don't want to protect a barricade because I can't shoot through it. Protected barricade comes into play only when I need it. Finally some ammo though. Actually stocked up now. Oh, this is something I could actually talk about, is the new shotgun. The one that's in my hands.
Got it. Door's been power cycled.
Although to be fair, I'm not like,
Do you need backup?
I can take the heat.
not hugely into it. But I'm not like hugely against it. I'm just like, it's tolerable, I guess. Like, I haven't really found it to be anything spectacular or interesting. It's just like,
What kind of mischief?
it's a gun. It kills things. Well enough.
Drawing power from that ritual.
And so, I don't think it's the greatest in PvP. Or not PvP, shit. Doing it backwards. I don't think it's the greatest in PvE, but I definitely think in PvP it'll be able to do some work. Thanks to its alternate slug shotgun capabilities. Because slug shotguns aren't the greatest thing in PvE. They're by no means bad. And the ability to get rapid precision hits reliably with a slug shotgun means it does have some value over PvP, where multiple precision hits are a little harder to get. Its enemies walk a little more unpredictably since they're actual people. But I feel like shotguns have kind of always been a little undervalued in PvE, just because stomp mechanics and the amount of damage enemies do, getting in close is suicide. You might as well write your will before you do it, because you're going to need one.
Keep it up.
It's similar with the swords, but swords are powerful enough that they can kind of push through it. Swords don't really have that option. They kind of do, but like not really. It's a bit of a shame. Considering shotguns are fun. Bungie makes good shotguns. That's just a fact of life. Bungie makes good shotguns. But I wish stomp mechanics and stuff didn't exist. Or if they did exist, or slash do exist, they didn't exist to the degree that they do. Because it makes it really annoying and frustrating to be able to do certain things. I don't know what I did. I don't think I did anything. Oh, I'm in just like a kill the hive type deal, okay. But PvE weapon meta, that's definitely another thing I could complain about. Scouts, tolerable. They're in what I would call an okay place, but they're not nearly on the level of things like 600 RPM autos, where God himself, you could take him down with a good 600 RPM auto. It's just kind of like a little frustrating. Also, the big culprit, the fucking elephant in the room, motherfucking Trinity Ghoul, is just so stupidly overpowered. Ridiculous. When it comes to ad clear, either you're using Trinity Ghoul or you're doing bad ad clear. Trinity Ghoul ad clears faster than anything. There is like no gun in the game that could touch Trinity Ghoul in terms of ad clear. At least not right now.
Get out of there before you're overrun.
And these guys keep coming. I'll never be overrun. Fuck you. Dude, I don't know what is bothering my nose so much, but I'm gonna fucking rip my nose off my face here in a moment. Back on Trinity Ghoul though. Trinity Ghoul sucks. Not through any real fault of its own, but just because it ruins the meta. It's like, why would I use anything else when it's that powerful?
Yeah, well, I'm still stuck in the subsystem.
And that's disappointing. It makes for very boring gameplay because, you know, instead of being like, man, you know, what gun do I want to use? Oh, well, I could use a scout rifle because, you know, the range is good. Or maybe I'll use like a shorter range gun, perhaps a submachine gun, because I want to be able to add clear fast at close range. But no, it's just use Trinity Ghoul. For long range, you fire the bow like a bow. For close range, you just spam it at the ground until everything's dead. It's really just that. It makes for the most brain-dead gameplay.
There's the control panel.
I don't know why they thought it was such a good idea. I think it's powerful, and I think it put it in the meta and on the map for once, rather than Trinity Ghoul just being kind of a gimmicky weapon. But it was so fucking ridiculous that it's shit all over the entirety of the meta. Because, like, if you look at raid boss fights, generally, there's an exotic that does better than others. So, in, whatchamacallit? Oh, I remember this from the beta. If you remember, there is, Eater of Worlds, which no longer exists. Just removed. In that fight, Whisper of the Worm shit on everything else. But, sorry, I'm like trying to listen to the audio at the same time. And also remember the name of all the guns. Whisper of the Worm is the best, but Xenophage can give it a run for its money. There was it was like a mountaintop combo. Mountaintop Anarchy, which could give it a run for its money. And so you've got like 3 different combos on that one boss fight. In Spire of Stars, that boss is best defeated by Wardcliff Coil of all things. So different boss fights often have different best guns. But for excuse me, I had like a burp coming on. For ad clear, it's Trinity Ghoul. It's Trinity Ghoul or nothing. Like, it does not matter. Nothing matters. Doesn't matter the encounter. Doesn't matter what you're fighting. Nothing. Just Trinity Ghoul. Like, it used to be, you could be like, well, you know, I prefer Huckleberry. And if I'm not using Huckleberry, maybe I'll use whatever the arc submachine gun is. Or, you know, some people were like, well, I use Sweet Business because I like just the amount of ammo it has. You know, a Titan with Actium War Rig and Sweet Business was a monster. But now that's all ruined. Because Trinity Ghoul has just limitless amounts of ammo. You could just spam it into the ground to kill everything. You don't even need to aim with it. Like, it's so ridiculous that that thing exists in the state that it does. It just shows you how little Bungie seems to care about the PvE meta. I've heard a couple people say, like, oh, but Trinity Ghoul, you know, if the enemies are high enough level, it doesn't quite one-shot them. It's like, well, that doesn't really... It slows it down. But at the same time, it's still an issue. It's still stupid annoying.
We're alive.
Like, it'll maybe stop you from doing Grandmasters with it. Maybe it'll, like, stop, day 1 raid clears with it. Once the raid has the limit taken off of it, it's just gonna go back to dominating again. It's like Mountaintop for PvP. It's like, yeah, technically it got stopped from being in a mode or two temporarily, but all the other modes are still fucked. It's real, you know, band-aid on a bullet wound type situations here. And I can't believe, like... I can't believe Bungie lets it go on like this. And, again, back to the original point that I made. Bungie just needs to address things. Just please, say something. Anything. Like, At this point, it doesn't need to be good, it doesn't need to be bad. You just need to say something. Anything. To give players some level of reassurance. Because right now, we have nothing. There isn't even the faintest shred of reassurance or care in the world. Which sucks to the nth degree. Please, Bungie. If there's anything you take away from my incessant rambling, it's that I wish you would just talk to us. And not a we hear you situation, a genuine conversation.
Sorry to do this to you, but I'm headed for the superconductor, and I'm running this part solo. We've had enough Guardians die today. The city needs new blood like you. Gotta keep you safe. Before you think
Oh, I
about
guess I gotta go save his ass now.
there's only one access key for that chamber, and I've got it on me. If I make it out, I look forward to working with you again. If not,
Okay.
I left you a sparrow. Take it and get out of here. Get to the last city. Shahan, over and out.
How could he do this? Navota is still out there, and she already destroyed 2 Guardians. This is bad.
Shaw said he took the only key, but he can't have searched the whole Cosmodrome. There has to be more. Let me check
Yep.
the location data. He was recently doing something out on the Forgotten Shore. Let's start searching there. Sending coordinates.
Of course, there's gonna be another, because we have to go save Shahan. Show, like, what a cool guardian we are, and how badass we is. This is miles, leaps and bounds better than the old New Light experience. This is so much better. It's stupid how much better this is. I'm kind of mad that I joined when I did, and I got, like, the shit deal with it kind of experience. Where they were essentially just like, well, that seems like a you problem if you can't figure anything out. I don't know why Destiny 2 ever released with, like, the way it did. It was such a bad idea. Being like, well, Destiny 2 just kind of picks off where Destiny 1 left off. It's like, you can't really do that, because now new players are just lost and confused. And that was always going to be the case, that new players would be lost and confused. You kind of left them no other choice. But as someone who, I started playing Destiny in October of last year, which would be October of 2019, for future reference. And I joined when it was made free through New Light. And they added in the New Light experience. And I happened to just power through it. I looked at the dozens or so quests that were out there, and just gave it my all and figured it out.
But I'm detecting residual particles consistent with cache alloys. There were more chests here once. They must have been stolen by Fallen or Hive. There's a particle trail leading to a nearby cave. Sending coordinates now.
I don't... Oh, I infused the armor. I can't equip it by pressing A. Look, can I just... Okay. I can just go ahead and do that. Complex, yeah, I'll equip it. But I was gonna say that I just powered through. I saw all the quests and I just started doing them. Started powering through. I got literally all but the Not Forgotten quest done. That was the only one that I couldn't do. Through basically just sheer force of will. But a lot of my friends didn't. I had at least 2 or 3 friends who refused to engage with Destiny because the New Light experience was so bad. And it's kind of permanently turned them off of Destiny. Many of them will not return to Destiny because of just how bad that New Light experience used to be.
Still two other particles
And
on the
so
tracker.
it's kind of a shame. But at the same time, I understand. And I hope
Check your weapons.
new players will see the new Beyond Light and consider going and, you know, trying out the game. But at the same time, I'm not holding my breath because I know how many players were
But it's
completely jaded after
we find more.
playing that garbage experience that was the original New Light.
I'm detecting a high density of fallen weapon signatures nearby. There's still one more cache on the tracker.
So, with that in mind, I wonder if the current New Light is just too little too late. And in my eyes, it might just be. Even a player like me who managed to power through, I thought that was the thing, just the way the light looked on it. Even I don't really want to sit down and like try it again. A lot of me wants to just quit playing Destiny and never come back. Especially because a lot of the new content is just so similar to the old content.
This has enough code fragments.
And the changes they made were,
I need to boost
they were micro changes at best.
I'm reading a
A
concentration.
couple good quality of life changes here and there, some aesthetic changes,
I've marked your tracker.
a couple bits of new content, and then they just ripped out a ton of content. Just started tugging and pulling until there was nothing left. And I don't know what is waiting for me in Destiny now. When I boot up the game, you know, I look around and I'm like, what am I gonna do? You know? When I boot up World of Warcraft, which is my current affliction, I look around, I'm like, what is there to do? I'm like, well, I could level up my character's professions, I can go do dungeons, all this other stuff. Glad we're still playing this game. Bot seeing me sitting all by myself, just ranting and raving. Fucking.
First, activated the array. I can use this to amplify my signal. Let's collect the charge.
Okay, we need to just grab it. And then some follower bot comes in and is like, do you want big followers? Or a big penis? Check out my website. Pay me money to become famous. And then get banned by Twitch when they find out how you did it. No, if no one wants to watch me stream, then no one wants to watch me stream. If someone wants to watch me stream, then it's genuine. I want some fucking bots just so I can get... What? Maybe people will see me once I get bigger? I don't know. A waste of my time. A waste of my money as well. Ridiculous. But, as I was saying, on Destiny, I ask what's there waiting for me.
I am now authorized.
Like, maybe playing with my clan, the friends I made in there. You know, all the content that they remove. More grind is what I see. With World of Warcraft, it's like, oh, I can do the new dungeons. I can level up my professions. I've got new characters to level up. There's always new things to see. And it's just all these unique experiences. And Destiny never feels like an experience for me. Not for a long time. Because all the content starts to just blend together. It's like, well, every strike feels like every other strike. You know, the mechanics are so similar that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The classes, Titan, Warlock, and Hunter all feel the same. As well. They all use the same guns. Couple ability changes, couple super changes, and that's about it.
Transmitters were blocked.
So,
Eyes up, Guardian.
Get chopped up, bitch. Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you. No, come back here.
Navota's gone. Wherever she went, I can't detect her anymore. But I've got a lock on Shaw's ghost. Let me help him. Shaw,
It is kind of a shame with how much I've enjoyed Destiny
What are you doing here?
to get to the point where I'm like, I don't know. I don't fucking care.
she's still alive. Somewhere. We did enough to force her to retreat.
You fought her off? Alright then.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I left you behind.
good. Shaw. Little bitch.
I was afraid to lose anyone else.
So were we. That's
Yeah,
why we
glad your friends are dead, asshole.
Nobody liked to be sidelined. I'm glad you were here. I owe you. The prize is yours. Superconductor is over there. Grab it and meet back at camp. For real this time.
Is this the superconductor? I'm assuming it is. It's very bright and shiny.
I can feel the arc light coursing through this. No wonder the Vanguard
want to make a weapon with it. Let's head back to camp and then the last city. Home.
Home. Home is dumb. Gonna go out of the activity and then fast travel. But I feel like this was a much more productive 2 hours of ranting and raving. Rather than the I hate everything, this shit sucks stream that I did last time. I feel like my thoughts were at least slightly more coherent. Although I didn't talk about how I physically felt about the stasis subclass for Titan.
Again.
And I've seen more of the footage of people using it, and I feel like I might just be using it wrong, and I might just need to get used to it. But like I said earlier, the game doesn't really let you do that as well as I think it should.
Seems like there's a fallen glimmer extraction crew nearby.
I'm just glad the light chose you. I've got
Oh,
orders to
it's
stick
my
around
ghost
for
fucking speaking over Shaw.
Maybe I'll find some other new lights to shepherd along. As for you, it's time you
Cool.
meet Otis Vala. He leads Guardian Ops from the last city. I've told him you'll be
Yep,
around
never met him
for the
before.
superconductor, so take care of that thing. No dents or scratches.
Well, it already has
He's
dents and
also a
scratches.
great leader and a good
When I
person.
smack you upside the head with it.
And don't be a stranger. Guardians are stronger.
Okay, so he just like gives you a ship. Oh, and the City Apex as well. That's pretty cool. City Apex used to be inaccessible, I think. A lot of the Red War campaign items were.
Close call with that vandal.
Travel to the towers. You go to destinations, you go to the tower. Yeah, I'm trying to launch it. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers. Why would you buy primes? I guess it would push you up in the search feed, maybe. Also, this stream is going to be horrible for my analytics. But fuck it, who cares? I thought it was the right thing to do to give Destiny the second chance to redeem itself. And a second chance where it wasn't me just being generally pissed off and then getting mad at Destiny for no particular reason.
The last survivors of humanity's collapse call the city home.
Oh, a new cutscene.
This is why I brought you back. To defend them. And to reclaim
Is
our
this new, or
lost
was this like here at some point?
We're here.
They like cut. I feel like they might have cut another
The last city.
cutscene to get this footage.
Welcome home.
I don't know. I'm not exactly an expert on Destiny lore, clearly.
Welcome
I'm pretty sure I'm not an expert in anything.
City of I've been here many times over the years. I'm glad you finally get to
Oh,
see
start in the hangar.
see why we're here and what we need to protect. Let's start by registering your jump ship.
Hey, Amanda. What's up, beautiful? Okay.
Nice, isn't it?
Speak with Commander Zavala.
For me, this is it.
New step from Blast for the Past. Speak to Amanda Holiday. Wait, I
We
thought I
have
just
an
did.
increase in Guardians sneaking in contraband since a fellow called the Drifter arrived. So Vanguard Command instituted a check for first-timers.
Wait, what the fuck? Yeah, complete your tour of the tower. Return to Amanda Holiday in the tower. Amanda, you have my gun? No? Okay. Go talk to Zavala and then come back for my gun, I guess. I don't need another chaperone. I want the quest out of my way. I don't know. I guess they put that in there to like give new light players an exotic quest.
Golden Age tech triggered some warnings. I'm clearing it with security. Commander Zavala would like to meet you in person. I'll lead you to him.
Shut up, Ghost.
The entire Vanguard, the group that supports all Guardian operations. Lately, he spends more time commanding troops than fighting on the front lines. But he plays some of the first stones
I'm glad we're
standing on.
we're getting an actual explanation of like all of this.
Every life in the city is his
It took me, I think, like 2 or 3 months to realize that Zavala was there when the city was founded.
He's going to need your help. You're a Titan. You'll be able to help him shoulder that burden. Up there in the sky, that's the Traveler. It's where I came from, where the light you wield came from.
Hello, Zavala.
The one that saved Shaw. Thank you for that. Your
You're welcome.
Been looking for you for a long time. I'm glad he finally found you. And now you found the light. The Traveler entrusted us with this power so that we may protect our people from the forces that threaten our existence. I don't take Shaw's recommendation lightly, but you have much to learn, and the conflict with the darkness is unyielding. We will analyze the superconductor you recovered. In the meanwhile, I've left you something in my office. Use it well.
You left me something in your office, okay? Let's go see what it is. Basically gonna finish off this quest line before I
You should take that as a compliment. I've marked his office on your tracker.
peace out.
Don't break anything in there, and don't touch his music.
What if I've already touched his music? It's workout jams.
This is a Vanguard service weapon, but it's from Zavala's personal collection. Shaw must have talked you up quite a bit. Or maybe Zavala saw something in
It's from his personal collection. It's literally just a lonesome. I have like a dozen of these.
That's where we'll find Ikora.
Guess it's a good, hopefully a high-ranking weapon. Yeah, 1126. Seems kind of weird that a lot of these quests are giving me Gambit weapons. I wonder if it's random and I just happen to be getting all of the Gambit weapons, because it seems weird to see Zavala handing out the Drifter's guns.
Ikora Ray is the Warlock Vanguard. She leads the tower's warlocks, like Zavala leads the Titans. She does a
Yeah, but
lot
Ikora sucks.
guiding the warlock orders in research and development, enemy reconnaissance, and internal affairs. And she's a sight to
Thank you.
see in the Crucible. Good luck.
Bye, Ikora. I hope you didn't have any dialogue that you wanted to say.
We should check in with the Drifter. You may be wondering who leads the Hunters. See, we lost Cade 6, our Hunter Vanguard, a while back. Killed by a man named Uldren Sov. It was a difficult time. Now no hunter wants to take his place.
You ready to bang
I thought he was gonna say the Drifter leads the hunters, and I was like, does he?
See, the thing about Drifter is, he's unique. Let's leave it at that.
Hoping for some good old unique dialogue. Let's go see what Shax has to say. I could probably be reading all of this, but I don't want to. I don't know. I'm just not that invested in Destiny anymore. And I feel like part of that's just because I never felt like Destiny was invested in me, you know? Two-way street.
Oh, and no tour of the tower would be complete without meeting Lord Shax. Shax is in charge of live fire drills and general combat training for Guardians. It all happens in the Crucible, where Shax oversees battles of light versus light.
Triumph system access. Claim this item to unlock the Triumph's game system. Okay.
Isn't Shax something? When he's not yelling, he plays dodgeball with the
This is such a nice little introduction. I'm so glad they added this.
Anyway, Zavala's asking us to visit the gunsmith next. His name is Banshee 44.
Hey, sweet new gun. Master Raoul? Yeah, it's like running me through all of the different vendors, which is sweet.
That's short for crypto archaeologist.
Unlock the Seasons game system. Okay.
That about wraps it up. There are still people in the tower to meet.
Go talk to Zavala once more. Yeah, I remember being just dropped into the tower and told, go ham.
That sounds interesting. Or we can just explore. In any case, I'm with you till the end. You take the lead.
Complete a strike. Okay. We'll probably do that later. I kind of like that night watch. I actually think I'm going to keep it. Delete that. Get some infusion in here. I always scroll down. I don't know why. Ghost. Don't care. So many good ghosts. I don't need those. Sparrow. Don't need the garbage sparrow. I've got my micro mini. Same with the ships. I got a fucking raid ship that I use. Access your director by pressing that. Select the Vanguard strike by pressing A. I have access to one strike at the moment. Disgraced. Go do it. Which I will do later. For now. Calling it quits. Saying I will see you guys later because just glad I got a second chance to come in here and kind of explain a bit of my perspective on Destiny and why I haven't been playing it as much, why I haven't been enjoying it as much. And if need be, I'll do more streams like this where I can actually, you know, talk about stuff, hopefully by writing the topics down next time. So expect to potentially see me do that. Write down all my thoughts on a game and then come and talk about them live. But I was in a not great place on the last stream, so I just wanted to give Destiny its fair shake. Be a little more respectful about it. So, now that I've done that, I'll see you guys later.